Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking a little more closely now. We thought it might have been hanging, but what I think was happening is it doesn't look like his headlights are on. It looks like his running lights are on, and one of the running lights is not on. So maybe we mistook that as actually a hanging light. But it looks like his headlights are on. His headlights are off, I should say. His hazards are on, and that left daytime running light remains on, or maybe a fog light, if you will. It looks like a fog light on that left side, but. It doesn't appear that his headlights are on as he continues on Foothill Boulevard, northwestbound, right at Dronefield, as we're coming into the Sylmar area. And again, he was in Sylmar area much earlier, but when this first started, within the first 15 minutes of the pursuit. Now we're making a turn on Roxford. Looks like we're going eastbound on Roxford, heading back towards the 210 freeway. I know there's an on-ramp here. There we go, getting back on that eastbound 210. I don't mean to laugh or make light, but he just keeps going back and forth here. Very uncertain on what he wants to do or how he wants to do it, but we've been seeing this 210 run back and forth here, so starting to get a little bit of a pattern here with the suspect as we continue this pursuit. Speeds 45 miles an hour, getting a little bit more speed for freeway speeds, but we haven't seen him do on the freeway at least more than 45, 50, 55 miles an hour. Yeah. 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 Yeah, exactly, Mark. And we've seen this time and time again, and they just they don't know what to do, and their state of mind is a little messed up, and they don't want to get into custody, and there may be some other things that are going on. It's just one of these things, and at this point, the good news is he's not at this time posing a danger to anybody, any citizens or motorists at large right now. But we want to take a quick opportunity, a little educational piece on SkyMap 7. A lot of people have asked us that little compass on the right. Well, what that's all about? Well, you can see a little green indicator. That's actually the direction of Air 7 HD, and you'll see a rotating compass as he gets off at Polk Street. Well, he was going to get off, but now he's going to continue on the 210. But you can see that moving compass, and that gives you an indication of which direction Air 7 is flying, and also that orange line that comes off the right side of the helicopter. That's an indication of where our camera is pointing in relation to the ship, to the helicopter. So you can see we're kind of traveling to the south and eastbound, and we're shooting out west, up the right side of the helicopter with that orange. And as we pull out, you can see, we'll show Rob, you can see how that widens out to show a wider field of view, and we can go back in and it shows you how wide and how tight. Just a little tidbit on the technology of SkyMap 7 for some of the people asking on the web exactly what that is and what that does, to have an indication of which way we're flying and which way we're looking. Yeah, we'll see that we can get it. We'll zoom in. It gets, you can see a little glimpse. So we'll see if the LAPD's night sun will light it up here in a second. But you can get a glimpse of the dog. We can almost see the dog a little bit better than we can the suspect here, kind of moving around there. Very large dog, looking around, kind of panting. Like I said, it looks to us maybe kind of a shepherd type mix of some sort. We saw the suspect. He appeared to have dark hair and a dark shirt on, but you can see his hands moving around there. Hopefully we'll get a better look at it here. It gets into a better lighting situation. We'll go in tighter and get you a better look. But continuing on the eastbound 210, and it looks like we're coming up on Hubbard Street, just a few hundred feet here. There's kind of a good look at him, kind of moving around, bobbing his head around. And you see how his face is lit up. That's not from an interior light. That's from actually the San Fernando PD's takedown lights in the front, that are very blinding lights that hitting that rear view mirror and then bouncing into his face. So a lot of times they can actually light up that suspect from behind. You can see that sits on that driver's side door of that black and white.
Wow.
Takedown lights. I'd never heard of that. I just assumed it was called a light, and it has a function, a nickname, a takedown light.
Yeah, we'll push into it real quick. We'll show it to you real quick. You can see it. A lot of them sometimes will come back to the black and white to the right, Rob. We'll show it to you real quick. You can see it on the left-hand door there. It's usually a hand-operated light, sometimes on the light bar on the top, but that's actually a directional light, that one right near that corner of the driver's side door. That's a pretty bright light they put right into that rear view mirror that lights up the face, so they can actually kind of see if the suspect's moving around or jostling around. They get real concerned when the suspects start rooting around in the cabin of the car or the truck, down under the seats and the floorboards. That gets them really nervous, as you can well imagine why. But so that's something they do. Between that light and the night sun from the helicopter, anything they can use to illuminate that suspect vehicle, especially when they're blacked out, is an advantage for law enforcement.
Wow, very interesting. Okay, so we are going along we're still on the 210 eastbound.
Coming up on the 118.
Okay, coming up on the 118. This is one of his longer stretches of being on the freeway. Usually they've been shorter, and this is at least the fifth or sixth time that he's gotten onto the freeway. But every time that he's gotten on, it's only been for a very short amount of time, just a few minutes.
Yeah, he gets on the freeway. We'll see what he does here, but we are hearing that it's possible that they may turn this over to the CHP. San Fernando PD may hand this over to the CHP. It looks like they're coming in from the rear. You can see the CHP officer coming up from the rear. They're going to jump in. They're going to take over the pursuit.
Wow.
Usually in situations like this, the primary agency, the San Fernando PD, they'll stay tight with it, so they'll trail it. Now he's on the highway. Maybe CHP's criteria, training, they may decide to handle this a little bit differently. I'm sure the information that the intelligence that San Fernando PD has been passed along to the CHP, so they know everything they're involved with. So right now the transition is happening as CHP is taking it over, giving him a little bit more room until they get all their units up and in here to do this pursuit, and the San Fernando will then back out.
And is this the first time the CHP has taken over the pursuit on the freeway?
Yeah, it is. They tried doing it earlier on the 405 freeway when he was coming from the Sherman Oaks area back northbound on the 405. They were going to hand it off at Nordoff, but then he got off at, I think it was San Fernando Mission, I believe, and they discontinued that, and they just kept going with San Fernando PD. So it looks like we're getting off here again, right at the 118, just past the 118 freeway. I'm not sure what the off-ramp is here. Maybe Paxton. We'll give it to you in a second here as
he's never on the freeway long enough for the CHP to really have much to do with it. He gets on the freeway and he's off in about 3 minutes, so he doesn't stay on very long. Although
they're still on it now.
They're still with him now, though.
And they'll stay with it. The CHP will do pursuits within cities on surface streets, as long as they coordinate with the primary agency of that city and they know they're in the city. They will do that, and we've seen that time and time again. And a lot of times their policies will be a little bit more aggressive. And we'll see if they actually do a pit or a spike and to try to end this. But often we've seen that where the sheriffs are in pursuit and the criteria of the pursuit will not meet their criteria, and they'll cancel the pursuit, and then CHP will pick it up and it'll meet their criteria and their policy, and they'll continue the pursuit. So it's a balance of every department's policy based on what the suspect is wanted for, the immediate need to get him in custody, or they can get him in custody later, or the danger he's posing to the citizens at large.
So do you see any more San Fernando PD units? Are they just off this completely now since we're now in the city? Oh, no, they're still there, aren't they?
Yeah, we see about 4 or 5 of them. We've got quite the pursuit trail here. A lot of agencies, especially LAPD, they have specific rules on how many officers can be in a pursuit. It's usually a primary unit, I should say, 2-man unit, a secondary 2-man unit, and a supervisor. Now, there can be more units let in the pursuit based on the circumstances of multiple suspects in a car, if the suspect is armed, if they're more the wants of what he's wanted for, they can add additional units, but everybody's policy is a little bit different. You could see 10 vehicles behind this suspect in pursuit. That's not usually in policy for LAPD. They don't like to do that, just because you'll never see this in an LAPD pursuit unless there's multiple suspects in the car, or he's extremely dangerous and wanted for something very, very, very bad. You will never, ever see that according to LAPD policy.
Okay. Well, now he's on still on that surface street, still on Paxton, which seems like a combination residential and commercial street. People, I guess there's not too much danger of people who are in that area running out of their homes to take a look at this. They're probably all in bed asleep, or maybe watching this on their computers, which we hope they are, so they know where the danger potentially could be. And so that's a good thing. No pedestrians out there, not a lot of cross traffic, not a lot of traffic really of any sort. And because they have so many officers in pursuit, they're able to seal off some of these intersections, right, Michelle? As they pass through,
yeah, we've
seen that quite a bit.
Yeah, through several intersections, and thankfully he's been slowing down for the most part when he's been going through on the few occasions. Well, I don't know if few is an accurate word. Maybe many occasions where he's run red lights. He at least has been taking caution when doing that. And now, okay. That's interesting, JT. That's the first time we've seen him kind of make it a maneuver to seemingly try to get away.
Yeah, we saw him do that a couple times when he was on Sepulveda Boulevard earlier, before we went on the 11 o'clock newscast. So, but speeds were picking up a little bit there as he's now back eastbound on Paxton. We're paralleling the 118 freeway on the south side as we continue eastbound here. Completely blacked out. I don't even see taillights on right now. No hazards, no taillights, so that's a danger as well. So CHP seems to be giving him a little bit more room than the San Fernando PD was. We'll pull out and show you that real quick. They're giving a little bit more distance. I think the San Fernando PD was on his tail a little bit closer than that, but you can see that he's completely blacked out. The only way really to see him is with the night sun from the LAPD airship. Could be an issue. Sometimes when we see law enforcement back off like that, it's because they have information that the suspect, may want to hurt himself or hurt someone else unless they back off. So, but unusual to see CHP this far behind as he continues on Paxton, and that cross intersection is Glen Oaks, and now going to be making that southbound, or is it northbound? A southbound turn on Glen Oaks from Paxton.
Coming up on some activity here on the streets. He was choosing some very quiet streets earlier. There's a little more activity here. But he's been taking care in going around these cars. He's not had any collisions so far, which is good. Continuing right now at a slow to moderate speed. And we'll see what he does here. He's in the right-hand lane. Maybe he's getting ready. He's in the bike lane right now. Maybe getting ready to make a right turn.
Yeah, apparently a foot bail doesn't seem to be something that he's contemplating, because he's kind of been through these neighborhoods, some of these same streets several times, and usually that's an indication that somebody wants to take off on foot, but he hasn't done that, hasn't even tried to do that. So that's not the way this, it doesn't seem like that's the way this is going to end. It seems like he's not intent on really getting away from the police. I mean, it's clear that he can't. So I'm just trying to guess his motives and what he's thinking and what sorts of things might be happening in his mind to justify what's going on here, because he's not setting up to take off on foot. He's not driving so erratically as to try to shake his pursuers, which would be futile anyway, given they have at least one helicopter overhead. So it kind of raises the question, what is it that he's thinking? What is it that he is trying to accomplish here?
Yeah, Mark, and then that question we ask all the time, and you almost have to frame it as if a person that's willing to run from the police in any form or fashion usually obviously wants to get away because of the crime. They don't want to go to jail. Well, it looks like CHP may be creeping up for a pit here on Van Nuys near Herrick. That is we'll see if he does. Yep, he's going to do the pit here, trying to disengage that back end, bumps him. And now we'll see if he speeds up from here. He's going to give it another shot. Going to really tuck that in.
Speeds are going
driving away
to
avoid
increasing.
it. Yeah, something very personal about another vehicle touching a vehicle, and we've seen this, heard about this with training and stuff. When these black and whites touch a suspect vehicle, it becomes real to them all of a sudden. Kind of wakes them up and goes, okay, this is real. So we often see that, and a lot of the times when a pit maneuver like that is attempted and tried, and then it doesn't happen as he turns on Paula Street from Van Nuys Boulevard, blacked out. Sometimes when that happens, things change. So hasn't really changed yet, but it may change soon unless they try to get this done here on Paula Street, northbound from Van Nuys Boulevard.
All right, going down a very narrow street right now, so this would not be a good place to do the pursuit intervention technique, obviously. But they're still following very closely. We see two CHP SUVs JT, and then the San Fernando Valley or
Yep.
San Fernando PD still
Yep, they're trailing.
in force.
Getting slow here as we come northbound on Ralston Street from Judd. San Fernando PD is still in pursuit. He's making a left-hand turn on Judd here from Ralston, so now he's westbound. You're right. You were exactly right on that. Getting really narrow. That almost looks like an alley. In fact, we don't even know what street that is, going between homes here. So we'll see what that turns out to be here.
It turns out it could turn out to be the end of his
it's
pursuit.
letting out
if he
onto
has to
Fillmore
a dead end.
Street.
No, he's heading out to another street.
Back eastbound on Fillmore, we are in the Pacoima area, very close to the Whiteman Airport, just south of the 118 freeway. Near Whiteman Airport, now back eastbound on Fillmore. They'll probably try to get him here in the next turn he makes, I would guess. If it's coming out towards another major, they may try to get him here. But again, very narrow, but good observation there, Michelle. Very narrow and not a good place to do it. Especially if he's slower speeds. It's always easier to do it at a faster speed as he crosses Bradley here eastbound on Fillmore. It has some more momentum build when they disengage that rear end, but when he's going this slow, it just kind of, you saw it happen. He bumped him and nothing really happened.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll get another opportunity here. Right now is not a good time, though, as he continues on these narrow, dark surface streets in, where are we are we back in Pacoima?
Yeah, we're in Pacoima. We're just, like I said, just south of the 118 freeway, very near, just north of the Whiteman Airport, moving eastbound back towards the Foothill Boulevard, just south of the 118. That's Herrick in Fillmore, cross Herrick, north down on Herrick from Fillmore. You can see that that's an LAPD Foothill unit there, trying to get out of the way of this pursuit as he's northbound on Herrick in Pacoima. Yeah, in the heart of Pacoima here, kind of coming up on the 118 freeway. He's going to have to make a left or a right here because I don't think I think the freeway actually blocks the on-ramp here. So be interesting to see. Oh, it does continue coming up on Daventry Street here. We'll put Sky Maps street lines up to give you a better look at what's coming here.
Yeah, well, if he gets onto a freeway on-ramp at some point, that's a great place for a pit maneuver because he's the only vehicle around. It's a curved road already, so it doesn't take much to get the tires to slip out. And my guess is that if the CHP is contemplating that, they're probably waiting to pick that spot.
Yeah.
Because that would be a good place to do it, or just getting out to a wider street. But as Michelle mentioned, you don't want to do it on a narrow residential street like that because you're going to cause property damage at the least to other people's innocent people's property or vehicles that are parked on the street.
Here he comes again here. Well, now he kind of snuck up on him there, and he picked up speed. But we're putting the net maps of the lines of Sky Map 7 up because I wanted to show you something. I'm going to pull out just a little bit here before he does it. If he does it, if you see any line that's dotted like that, that means there's really no outlet. That it leads into an area that's a dead end. So that's a good way to know if he's going down a dead end street. So if he goes down these streets, we'll pull that up next to him to make sure that it's either a no outlet or a dead end.
Wow, we've learned a lot about your capabilities tonight here, JT. It's pretty neat. Okay, here they're closing in on this suspect, and it appears like you said, JT, they're getting ready to do it again, the pit maneuver.
Yeah, it shows. I'm sorry, Mark. It shows how aware he is. That he's very aware that the CHP is behind him, and whenever they kind of creep up to do it, he puts a little bit of speed on, just enough to get a little distance there, but. Definitely doesn't want him to touch the back end of his truck again, but that's the kind of speed right in there, 40 miles an hour. That's a good speed that it would disengage the rear end as he's continuing northbound, I should say, on Paxton, coming up on Dronefield.
Any freeway on ramps or off ramps in his in ahead of him at this point?
Yep.
Okay, tell me about it.
Yeah, coming up on the 210 freeway. We're going to pull out a little wider here, Rob, to show him. That is the 210 freeway, and there is an on-ramp there as he goes underneath it. We'll see how that goes. I'm not sure where the on-ramp is here, but that is on. Now he's on Foothill Boulevard here, going northbound or northwestbound, if you will, on Foothill Boulevard, underneath the 210 and the 118 interchange. We know there's an on-ramp somewhere in here. I'm just not sure where they can pick it up on Foothill or not.
All right, well, he's been able to get away from one pit maneuver. We'll see if they are able to try another one But we've been watching this for almost 2 hours now, and just within the last 5 minutes, some dramatic developments. Up until then, it was pretty calm, pretty slow, and uneventful.
Yeah, it's we're hearing now that the CHP is actually asking San Fernando PD to completely back out of the pursuit. I'm not sure why, but they're maybe asking them to completely back out. They want it to be theirs. Again, I'm looking behind them, and I'm seeing all those black and whites that are in trail just shut down their code 3. Looks like he's going to try to make another pit maneuver here on Foothill. But as soon as he speeds up, so does the suspect. And just not a little bit wider ground here, so we're going to get ready for the pit because it's going to happen here on Foothill Boulevard. Got a little bit more space to work with, got the right speed to work with, not a lot of traffic out here, LAPD overhead. Trying to look ahead here, and what this LAPD Air Support's doing is giving information to that primary officer where the best spot is to do it, giving him the heads up, looking ahead for him, looking for cross traffic, giving him all the information he needs to wait for the right timing to speed up on that suspect and engage that pit maneuver.
All right. Well, he at least these are wider streets, and yeah, it's about finding a place to do it, because even on these wide streets, you've got cars that are parked along the side. There are businesses here. The ideal spot would be someplace where he's not going to damage anything or even potentially anyone when the truck goes out of control. That is assuming that they still intend to do the pit, which we'll have to find out ultimately. But this has been going on now for, a good solid 2 hours. And I'm wondering about the gas situation for that truck. That truck's at most 17 years old, and maybe between 12 and 17 years old, I think, somewhere around there. And gas mileage may not be the best. It's a big truck to begin with. I see some movement in the inside of that. I see some movement there. What's going on?
He's swerving a bit, too. It's not staying in the lane.
I'm not sure if that's a flashlight or the dog's moving around for sure, but it looks like he may have a flashlight or, well, you know what that is? That's, here we go, wide down a little bit. Here's the pit. We don't want to miss that, so we're going to stay a little wider because he's trying to make a move here. What that is, that's the wigwags of the wigwag lights you see on the bottom of that CHP Cruisers, the white lights wigwagging, and that's the reflection in the mirrors. Going through the mirrors onto the suspect.
We have now heard takedown lights and wigwag lights.
Sorry.
Anything else you want to tell us about, JT?
Oh, there's plenty, but I don't want to get too law enforcement-y on you.
Oh, we like it. It's very interesting to learn
Hubbard
this vocabulary.
Right there. On Foothill through Hubbard. Again, don't want to make too much light of this. Still a very dangerous situation, but continuing 20 miles an hour. Looks like they're just looking for the right spot to end this. CHP obviously made the decision. It meets their policy and their criteria to initiate the pit. And we're trying to find a CHP frequency here so we can listen in and try to figure out when and where they're going to do this. So we will let you know as soon as we get that going. If I could have the desk come up with the CHP frequency for me, that would be great. As they continue here, it's interesting. The Chippy will give them plenty of room. We've seen different tactics and techniques from the training. LAPD likes to stay tight when they're about to do a pit maneuver, stay with them, so they don't have to close all that distance. CHP giving a little bit more room here. But the issue with that is they see him coming, so they see the suspect's going to see him close all that distance, and when he sees him, it gives him plenty of time to speed up and try to maintain that distance here. It looks like I found the frequency, but so maybe he backed off. Maybe the supervisor said, okay, that's enough, back off. So again, that supervisor in the pursuit making all these decisions. There is a CHP supervisor, just like there is with the divisional or the agencies, separate agencies here, as they continue here on Foothill Boulevard, paralleling the 210 freeway, making their way back into the Sylmar area.
Weird that he's staying in the what amounts to the bike lane, I guess, there.
Yeah.
He's got all these, he could be in the right lane without being so far over. So I'm wondering what that's about.
Yeah, we were noticing that. Very interesting that he's kind of hugging the right lane. Okay, there we go. That is Polk. Foothill and Polk, and it looked like they might have been closing in there for a second. We've turned Sky Map off for a second, so if this pursuit does start to turn, push in a little tighter there, Rob, but just watch, make sure he doesn't close in.
His windshield wipers
Yeah,
are
windshield
on.
wipers on. I was wondering what that was there, but
And the dog is moving around quite a bit.
yeah, the dog's been in there for quite a bit, if you know what I mean. And,
Yeah, maybe he's getting a little fidgety.
getting a little agitated
Yeah.
with his owner. But that is the big wild card in this, guys. We keep saying it, but the big wild card is how is this dog going to act when officers actually deploy on the suspect, take him custody? How protective will he be? Here comes the pit, really hard in, almost parallels him, disengages it. There it is, right there. Spins him around. Usually when it goes backwards like that, it disengages the vehicle. We're going to try to get this tree out of the way. He's backing up here. And this is what we're talking about. We'll see exactly what happens here.
We really hope that the dog doesn't get shot for one thing, and that does, that is something that officers that is something that happens when a strange dog comes out and they have a split second and it might be charging at them or running at them and they can't tell if the dog is being friendly or what, and sometimes shots end up being fired at a dog. But it is now, the pit maneuver's been employed. Where is this now?
We're going to give you that just right now. We turned off Sky Maps for this. This is on Foothill Boulevard in Sylmar. Car still rolling.
Oh, boy. That's not good.
So it might be just in neutral. Officers are talking to the suspect, trying to get him out of the vehicle. They don't necessarily want to go into the vehicle because of the dog. So, Rob, if you can give me the cross on Foothill Boulevard, because I don't have my Sky Map on up here because I want to make sure it's clean. So where Polk and Foothill is right where this happened. LAPD's Foothill Division area. I'm going to push him a little tighter there, Rob. And giving him commands, trying to get the dog still looks kind of agitated, wondering what's going on. The suspect driver's still in there. Now we're in a standoff situation. Supervisor there asking some of his officers to back off. Dog just came out. He ran out the street. We'll widen out to show you that. There goes the dog running down the street.
Okay.
So hopefully they'll be able to corral him up.
Yeah. Does he have the potential to drive forward and try to get away at this point? Or is he blocked in?
That would be a really bad idea.
Well, yeah, that'd absolutely be about okay. He's out. Hands are up.
Okay.
Dog's at his side, which is going to be interesting. The dog ran back into the frame. The man with the jacket on, blue hat, dog at his side. So it'll be interesting to see here how protected the dog is. Hands are up. He's looking for the dog, not really complying. So we're going to come a little bit this way in case he gets back in the tree.
The dog is really agitated and looks scared. It's running around. The suspect now, see, he's not.
Very
the level of compliance here is hard to tell.
Yeah, we're maneuvering for a better spot here, Mark. Okay, there we go.
And he's got his hands up. The dog is right next to him, as a German Shepherd will do. They're extremely loyal. They're very protective.
Yeah, this is interesting.
This is
Now, they may use something like a less lethal, maybe a beanbag, if they've got one. Hopefully, I mean, this could be a graphic situation. Obviously, if children are up or watching, we don't want them to be watching this on the web. But dog is sitting at his side, obedient, protecting his owner. This is an interesting situation here. You can see, I'm not really sure what they're going to do here. Try to get something to maybe, again, less lethal, maybe try to call him over. But now officers are not going to, okay, they do have an officer there. He went around the backside of him, hooked him up. Dog seems to be okay. He doesn't seem to be attacking them.
But
he's going to fall him over. And that's really good news. So if the suspect starts to fight, that might be a separate situation. It's really agitated.
The dog is just scared.
Yeah.
Just really frightened and trying to, it's agitated. His owner's right there. He doesn't know what to do. But clearly he's not threatening anybody. Look at him. His tail's wagging a little bit.
Yeah.
And they're going to try to, look, the CHP officer has him by the collar. And, the suspect's fighting.
The suspect's fighting. The suspect started getting agitated.
Oh, boy.
The dog started nipping. We saw that. He's trying to protect his owner. Backed off for a second. Did see the dog bite a little bit, but the suspect not going on the program. Now they're going to what's called the swarm technique. You mentioned it earlier. Every officer taking a limb, one sticking a leg, trying to get the guy's hands behind his back. So a lot of the times the guys will be fine until they put the handcuffs on them, and then the fight's on. So that's what you're seeing here. The fight is on. It's taking 4 or 5 officers, and the dog is an extreme distraction here.
They're having to swarm the dog, essentially, too. And that takes quite a bit of courage, frankly, on the part of that CHP officer to grab that dog, because a German Shepherd, the bite of a German Shepherd is no joke. There's a reason they are used as guard and police dogs, because they are able to inflict a very, very severe bite. This dog, though, is just, you can see how scared he is. And how he wants to go to the aid of his owner, and he's just freaked out. The owner himself fighting with police, perhaps some mental health issue is involved here. We were getting hints that might have been involved, and that might have been part of this process and part of the problem as they were dealing with this pursuit. He is on the ground. They've swarmed him. They've got him in custody. He is cuffed. They're going to have to call animal control after that really beautiful German Shepherd.
Yeah, you were hoping that since the officers, especially San Fernando PD, were in contact with the family, maybe they'll come out and take custody of the dog so he doesn't wind up in custody. But there's the suspect. They're telling him, they give him a good pat on the shoulder, like, okay, you put up a good fight, but you're in custody now, it's over. CHP showing a lot of constraint, a lot of professionalism, both with the suspect and with the dog. So excellent job that no one was injured, either the suspect, the officers, the dog, any citizens that we know of. No reports of an injury. This couldn't have ended any better for the CHP and the San Fernando Police Department.
Yeah. Officers did a great job. Oh, no, there goes the dog.
Yeah, now we've got a dog pursuit.
Boy.
A lot of media out here, a lot of what we call stringers, independent cameras out here. It looks like they probably run back around to his owner. As long, we'll see if that happens. Now we've got a whole different situation here. We're gonna pull out. I think they're keeping the.
He's back in the truck.
He's back in the car. Well, that's actually not a bad thing.
Yeah,
close the door.
Let him hang out in there.
Yeah, keep the dog in there. He knew the car, and hopefully we'll wait for the owner's family to come and maybe take him into custody. But they're going to keep him contained in there as the suspect's put into a CHP vehicle. They may even take him to San Fernando PD and let them do the booking. Sometimes that'll happen if they're still in the area. But it's over, and a lot of people out. Look at all the people out. I mean, this has been going through these neighborhoods in and around Sylmar, Pacoima area. You can see everybody's out here wanting to see how this ends. A lot of ground cameras, a lot of people wanting to know exactly how this ends, and then obviously all our viewing audience watching on the net and on our app got to follow along with us here.
Well, it's good to see this finally come to an end, and see it come to an end without anyone getting hurt. And the dog's okay, and boy, the officers just did a great job, as did you, JT. Thanks so much for your coverage. And we're going to leave this now. Thank you all for joining us here on abc7.com and on Facebook. And we hope you'll join us tomorrow for Eyewitness News beginning at 5 a.m. Of course, we'll have all the latest on Hurricane Irma.